Hey everybody, today I'm going to do a gurgler. I've done gurglers before, you know, shrimp gurglers and all that sort of stuff. I just wanted to do this one that I've started tying, which I guess is imitating a shrimp in the salt or some sort of insect in the fresh water. It's a bit different. You can see the little tiny legs, which I think is going to add a lot to this fly. When you strip and pour, those legs are going to keep moving and really look like either a shrimp or a or a disabled insect on the surface. So the materials that I'm using, this is a RX or AREX, depending on how you want to pronounce that, NS122 light stinger hook. That's a number 2 in that particular case. These are really deadly sharp carbon steel, really good hooks. You know, really good for bass, but nice fine wire, which is also good to penetrate the mouth of bream. The thread I'm using is just going to be a tan 6/0 thread. We have an ingredient that it's the first time I've really used this, and I wanted to give a shout out to Chris at Beast Brushes. So this is the Beachy brush, named after Chris Beach, and that's what it looks like. So you'll see all those little legs in between the fibre, which is very similar to, I guess, like an EP fibre type material. Crystal flash, I'm just going to use some tan crystal flash. Obviously you're going to need some 2mm foam. In this case I'm using tan. I've already pre-cut that, and that's about it. The tail's marabou with a little bit of the flash at the back. So I've already started the thread. Just, as always, run your thread the length of the hook shank, bring it back towards the back, and then I'm going to tie in some marabou. You don't make too big a tail, like you don't want it super fluffy, but enough to give it a bit of movement. You got to remember, things like marabou and feathers absorb water and make the fly heavier, and when you're fishing surface, sometimes that's not a good thing. So keep that in mind and don't overdo your natural fibres. So that's the marabou down. Then I'm just going to take the crystal flash and basically tie it each side of the hook. So that's one. Bring it back across, tie it in the other side, and cut off any extra. So, alright, so that's the crystal flash in both sides. And we're going to bring the thread right to where the tail is and start tying in the foam. Now what I usually do with the foam, and I'll try and do it sideways so you can see, is bring where it tapers down to the straight part that you're going to tie in, just past that way, the tail. So that way you can ensure that you're not going to have a gap between the tail and the foam when you tie it down. Okay, so tie that in relatively tight. Like so. Make sure it's straight, which it is, which is good. And then we're going to tie in the brush. So I'm just taking the brush and I'm just going to tie the wire on. Give it some good wraps there. Cut off the excess wire. You can fold it back on itself if you wish to make it hold in so it's not going to come out, but I tend to super glue it, and that way you're holding in all the foam as well as the wire. Okay, give that a few more wraps over the top. And we're going to take the brush and we're basically going to wrap the brush along the shank. Try not to trap too many fibres. I always brush them with my fingers as I go, and that way you're going to get all those legs sticking out and not getting trapped under each wrap of the brush. Try and keep it relatively close together on each wrap. And we're not going to go all the way to the eye because I'm going to leave a gap to tie the foam in. So around about probably 2 mils, so about there. Bring that up. Separate the fibres, bring your thread over. Okay, that's it. Bring that wire around and then we can tie that all down. Alright, what I usually do is just get some Velcro, tease that all out. So you can see that's pretty much teased out, pull it down so that most of it's under the hook. Now I'm going to bring that up. What I want to do is get that little hump at the back there. What that does is it traps the air, helps it float, but also as you strip it, the air comes out and you get a little bubble trail, which is pretty good for attracting fish sometimes. Going to tie it in right at the eye of the hook. Again, making sure it's straight. Right, then what I do is I fold the foam back on itself, right, and then tie that down. Just again making sure it's straight as I go. Pull all those fibres back. And then some more wraps. Okay, then I lift the head, the front part, so I'm pulling that foam back as you can see there. Pulling the foam back, bringing the thread under the eye and just some wraps back towards the foam. Try not to crowd the eye, so push back against the foam. And what that does, as you can see, is push that head up and then just whip finish. And I'm just going to do some whip finishing across the back there. And then I will just put some head cement on. Just head cement. So whatever head cement you use, I just put some head cement on those thread wraps around near the eye, and then it'll soak around into the thread, and that will stop it coming undone. Then once that's dry, just hit it with some UV epoxy or whatever you've got, and that'll make it almost bulletproof. That's it. So as you can see, a really buggy looking thing, thanks to the brush, the beachy brush. So I really like this one. As I said, when it's in the water, they legs really give it a lot of extra movement, along with the marabou at the back. So it's really going to get the fish going. Yeah, that's it. Enjoy.